So the highest votes have been given to Kapish. And second highest is Kunal. Lakshmi. You can ask any question related to psychology, philosophy, history, or anything.
Families are not families anymore. Why Indian families or why entire families are out there in the world, why they are not family anymore?
Yeah, in today's generation, the disputes are more because now there's a gap of communication is filled.
As we know that we got independence in 1947 and there is another country that is Singapore. It got independence in 1965. But still we can see the difference between India or the Singapore.
In India, illiteracy was there. So as he mentioned about the education is also a biggest challenge. So whatever the policies we are making, we are not able to make it impactful to the people.
What do you mean by the problem? What is the definition of problem as per you?
Guys, चालू है?
Yes.
हैं? चलो. So today's activity, which I have brought for you all, is way too interesting. So I've always seen you, having discussions, debates, sharing your opinions very openly among everyone. Today's activity is somewhere related to that only. But what exactly? Let me tell you. So the name of this activity is the best versus the rest. So this is a competition, as the name itself says. Versus means there are going to be two teams, or you can say two different sides, right? And will be definitely fighting against each other, right? But how exactly those two teams will be divided, that's the major question. So what we'll do is, you all will be given the chance to vote. And you have to vote to whom you find the best in this class, okay? You have to vote for one person. You have to vote for one person to whom you find the best among all. Okay? And at the last, the first three toppers, means the first three members who receives most of the votes will be chosen as the best. Or you can say the team best will be decided like that. And thereafter, the rest of the members of the class will fight against those three. Means the best versus the rest. So, are you guys ready for that?
Yeah.
All right. So, without any further ado, first I would like to take your votes. So, according to you, to whom do you find the best person and the best speaker of this batch? So, yeah, your vote goes to
Lakshmi di.
Lakshmi. Lakshmi 1.
Kapish.
Kapish. Kapish 1.
Kunal.
Kunal 1. Okay.
Kunal, yeah.
Kunal. Kunal 2.
Kapish.
Kapish 2.
Kapish.
Kapish 3.
Kapish.
Kapish 4.
Lakshmi di.
Lakshmi 2.
Kunal bhaiya.
Kunal 3.
Kapish.
Kapish, oh my god, Kapish, you are getting the highest. Yes.
Lakshmi di.
Lakshmi 3.
Muskan.
Muskan 1, okay.
Anu.
Anu 1. Alright. So the highest votes have been given to Kapish. And second highest is Kunal. Not expected. And third highest is Lakshmi. So we have got the team best, which will contain Kapish, Kunal and Lakshmi, and the entire batch will fight against these three members. Let's see if just these three hold that power to defeat everybody out there, or the power of this batch can really defeat the best of this batch. So without any further ado, let's do it. So we have got the best at their place, and we have got our rests as well ready for this session. So let me tell you what you are supposed to do and what is going to be the base of this competition today. So all the members sitting right there together from representing the batch themselves, you guys have to ask some question from these three members. You can ask any question related to psychology, philosophy, history, or anything. But make sure that you don't ask any question from GK, right? Ask some opinion-based questions. They will answer it one by one. If you don't like their answer, you can even cross-question them, all right? But make sure that you really make them feel this thing that it is not easier to be the best from this batch. You have to create a sort of a pressure for them, all right? Let's see if they go under pressure and underperform it, or if they really know how to handle the pressure, being the best and outperform it. So, without any further ado, let's do it.
Okay, so my question is to you guys that as we have seen current era in which families are not families anymore, where we can see that there are grudges between joint families, and if it is a nuclear family, still the bond of parent like father mother, and then the bond between the parents and child, it is not as usual as it used to be in the earlier time, right? So there are some changes and there are certain situations, and even there are some customs or conditions where people are not same as they used to be. So my question is at the last that why Indian families or why entire families are out there in the world, why they are not family anymore?
See, most of the disputes in the families are because of generation. Okay, and it's not something new. If you will see, so if we see some scripted from Asian time, so there it is also shown that they are saying that the new not scripted, scriptures from Asian time. So even they have written that the next generation is not that good. Okay, because in psychological way, human being society is like this only, that they will say next generation is not good enough. So the generation gap would always be there. Yeah, in today's generation, the disputes are more because now there's a gap of communication is filled. Now, like the childrens raise their voice. Now, childrens say what they like. They speak out their opinions. Earlier, if you will see, so especially in India, there was an ideology that if parents are saying something, you cannot oppose. Okay, so that has changed. That is good part of this particular thing. But yeah, disputes would be common because as we are moving towards individual society, people like to be individual, or people don't like other opinions to come in their zone. Okay, so disputes would be there, but I think that these disputes somewhere are healthy because now people are not just having dispute over family, property and law. They're having dispute over ideologies, opinion, which is shaping by different factors of the society.
Okay, so number one, the population from the ancient period and in the modern period has changed a lot. So it is only natural the number of disputes could also change. That is one of the most foremost and one of the most common. Second of all, I think your opinion is absolutely vague because we are thinking that we have more disputes right now because we have access to more information. We have access to social media. That's why we think there are more disputes. But even in the ancient time, even in the 18th century, even in the 19th century, there were as much disputes as right now. There were disputes not on the basis of, you can say, technological advancements. Maybe these kinds of things may not have affected those disputes, but they were ideological disputes. Earlier, there were a lot of people with conservative beliefs. In Europe, people used to follow Catholic churches blindly. But then people had liberal beliefs. They made new beliefs. They thought that this should not be right. And then that created a contrast between people. That is what you were saying as a generational shift or a dispute between generations. And that is same is happening right now. Now it is on the basis of, you can say, habits. Because earlier people used to work hard, but now we work smart due to new technological advancements, due to new kind of job opportunities in the field of AI and other stuff. We need brains now, not brawn. So that is why I think the opinion is not at all valid. It is the same as before. It's just that we are perceiving it in a different way right now.
But I have studied in Mesopotamia era and also in Mohenjo-daro civilization where nuclear family is already practiced. So you are saying that worldwide only joint family has existed, and after a certain point of time right now people have changed and the joint family system is not there and nuclear system is there. No, I didn't mention it anywhere. I'm saying a general perspective. I'm saying general perspective. People assume that earlier people are having joint family. Now people are morely shifted to the nuclear family. So I'm saying this is also a very common belief. We have to also break this myth because in Mesopotamia also there's a nuclear family system, and Indus Valley civilization also their nuclear family system was enriched, which is the earliest civilization of the people. And apart from this, another view of mine is that the society is led by the patriarchy. But the family was wholly circumstanced by the woman only. Earlier, the work division of the women is different, tasks were different. Now the things have changed. So women-led society is there. So the society which has earlier expected to women to do, right now that is not possible because we are grown up faster. So I think right now how the pattern has changed, that people are living differently, but they are united with the family, not with the disputes, but there are some day-to-day solutions. It is easiest to be in nuclear family where you can get any kind of dress, you can make food, the task will be less, and you are not so much answerable to everyone. In earlier society it was there in joint family. And in also when I studied law, most of the family cases disputes was for the properties. And earlier the property was only for the males, not females, but right now it is also for females. So this kind of things are making things to be segregated. Sometimes we say now that it's very good to being in distant happily rather than being in one home and fighting with each other. Getting to each other in once in a month, once in a year, in a special occasion is more healthier. So as Kunal stated, I think I found this concept more healthier and better.
As we know that we got independence in 1947, and there is another country that is Singapore. It got independence in 1965, but still we can see the difference between India or the Singapore. So what is your opinion that where we are lacking and why India is still in backward category?
India has got its own challenges. Okay, there are two aspects of the problem. Okay, first, India has got its own challenges, and the second, the challenges which are made by India, which was not there. Okay, first the challenges for India, that is education, population, and the area. Singapore don't have that large area, so for them it's easy. Doesn't have a large area, so for them it's easy to control every single corner of their country. But here we have large area, different ideologies. Every state has got different ideology, different customs, different culture. Okay, but there are some challenges which has always stopped India. First of all, the mindset. India mindset was never to solve a problem. If you will see Singapore, so their biggest problem was corruption. Okay, and they have fought corruption and the housing problem. These were the two biggest problem Singapore had, and they have solved it through a mindset that we have to solve a problem. Whether it will take 10 years, 15 years, which is noticeable in other countries as well. Even in China, pollution is there in India as well. Many cities is polluted. Even China was there, the capital. Okay, but it has resolved that problem over the 10 or 5 years, whatever the time they have taken. Even we can start. We don't want to problem get solved right now, but we can start. But there's a mindset in India that they don't solve a problem, or they just don't want to solve a problem for a long period of time. They just want to solve the problem for a very short period of time, that they will do something which can manipulate others. Second thing, also government. In Singapore, like I don't know about the government of Singapore, but yeah, in China there is a specific government, so there is a surety. There are negative side as well, but there is a surety of power. But in India, every 5 years there is new government. Okay, so there is a very lackness of power, that also there is a mindset that when a new party came in rule, they always vanish all the rule of other party. Okay, whether it's good or bad. Okay, so that's why there are some things which are taking India behind in these kind of things.
Firstly, we have to understand the base of the question. You are talking about the Singapore and India. So firstly, India was mainly agriculture sector country. So 70 to 80% population was in agriculture sector. So the first 5-year plan for upcoming 15 years was planned centered around the agriculture sector. And then directly we shifted to the service sector. So there is a very great lackness behind the secondary sector, that was the industrial sector. So India hasn't expanded a lot the industrial sector by the government. It was the private companies who initiated that. That was one of the wonderful example was Tata. So first one, the agriculture point. And secondly was the illiteracy. In India, illiteracy was there. So as he mentioned about the education is also the biggest challenge. So whatever the policies we are making, we are not able to make it impactful to the people. And when we are talking about the Singapore and India, we are the mixed now. They are socialist one. So here we are more focused for the balance of the capitalism and socialism, but there is a whole control was on the government too. So that's why we are lagging behind. And apart from this, current now our problem is different, their problems is different. Our problem is the population and the scarcity. So that's why we are, whatever the plans we are making for the need, not by the Singapore did this, so we have to also follow the same road. If we are also comparing those things, so I think we should also compare ourselves with the Pakistan and also the China and Sri Lanka too, because these 4 countries have got the independence on the same years.
What do you mean by the problem? What is the definition of problem as per you?
How I consider problems as the desired result which I am aiming for and I'm not getting at the right point of time is a problem for me, because I'm thinking something and the things happening is something else. But how I regulate this problem is that maybe I'm not able to do it right now. Someone is better than me who can perform it better, or right now I can't be, but in future, one day I will be. So that's how I see problem.
See, what I think that 90% of situations are not problem. They are just situation, we call them problem because of only one factor, that is the unsolved or I would say uncontrolled mind. If you have uncontrolled mind, every situation becomes problem. Okay, but if you have a controlled mind, they are just situation and other things that which are out of your control, that becomes opportunity. Okay, what I think, because whenever there is a problem, you always reach out to someone and that person is able to give the solution. Why? Because that person is not living those emotions which you are living, and that person is not experiencing those uncontrolled emotions which you are experiencing. So I think that problem is this only, that your mind is not controlled. If your mind is controlled, you can give yourself 1,000 reasons why that problem doesn't exist or that problem is not so big which you are talking about.
So, the best actually proved that why they were called in the front seat. Their answers were quite relevant, direct, straight, and adequate. And this is what we seek whenever there is something asked from you. You are supposed to be, short, crisp, with some adequate meanings added in it, and speaking something which is asked and required, not something which is you are willing to speak. So, that was about this whole session today. Now we'll be coming with some more videos of the same session, which is best versus the rest, where we will see if these 3 best really deserve to be the best on the other criterias of English speaking and personality. So stay tuned with us for some further videos as well. Till then, like this video, subscribe our channel and comment down whatever your reviews have got about this video. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.